Is Trump ending DEI saving the U.S. military from destroying itself? Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Trump is killing DEI. On his first day in office, Trump signed an executive order ending government DEI programs and preferencing. A week later, Trump signed another executive order specifically targeting DEI in the military. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth tweeted out that the Pentagon would comply immediately with no more DEI, no exceptions, name changes, or delays. Aw man, so does that mean they won't use my idea for rainbow camouflage? How else are we going to stage a stealthy invasion of Candyland? Now this is a big shift from Biden's day when he made DEI a priority and a hotly contested issue, especially in the military. And one big issue is the money spent on DEI programs and training. According to the Center for American Institutions, the Department of Defense's DEI funding drastically increased from $68 million in 2022 to $86.5 million in 2023 to $114.7 million in 2024. Over the course of 3 years, that's nearly $270 million on DEI alone. But that's okay. I mean, it's not like the U.S. government has ever spent a ridiculous amount of money on its military year after year, ever since I was a baby reporting on Potty Training Uncovered. But keep in mind, DEI has been around long before Biden or Trump. The DEI policies that we know today really took hold of the military under Obama in this 2011 commission that concluded the modern military must have a demographically diverse leadership that reflects the public it serves, and that good diversity management is not about treating everyone the same. So a military that reflects the country and colorblindness is a bad thing. So has DEI helped or hindered the U.S. military? Advocates say DEI programs are essential in order to address historical underrepresentation and discrimination. They also say diversity is a key American strategic asset, that it is essential at every level of mission effectiveness. This is just military lingo for diversity is our strength. But Hegseth disagrees. In fact, he calls it the dumbest phrase in military history. Hegseth is more than willing to get rid of DEI, and he's not alone. Retired Air Force Brigadier General Christopher Walker also doesn't like DEI. This might seem strange, as he actually served as senior advisor to the Air Force's Office of Diversity and Inclusion at the Pentagon. But guess what? Walker was never really a DEI fan to begin with, clearly, because he's a white supremacist. He actually used his position to feed information to a group of military veterans and civilians who oppose woke ideology in the military called Stand Together Against Racism and Radicalism in the Services, or STARS. And to STARS, DEI is their nemesis. So what does Walker actually think of DEI? He calls it Soviet indoctrination. And he calls a 2022 DEI training course for Air Force generals and senior officers at Georgetown University that he took old-fashioned propaganda. He says he, along with the other officers, had to learn social identity theory, implicit bias, microaggressions, intent versus impact, power and privilege, and inclusion theory, all with a diversity lens. In these classes, they were actually taught that white people were oppressors and black and Hispanic people were oppressed, so naturally they couldn't be racist. Well, that'll come in handy the next time the U.S. drone bombs a bunch of civilians in a country full of brown people. Oh, thank God the pilots were black and Hispanic. This way of viewing the world in Walker's eyes just doesn't work for unity. So you might be wondering how Walker was able to be a DEI advisor in the first place if he didn't like it. Well, nobody even bothered to find out what he really thought. They looked at him and assumed he was on board. Oh, you mean to tell me military DEI advocates judged a person based on his skin color? This kind of thing became the norm in the military, especially in the Air Force Academy, where cadets had to take courses on topics like class, race, and ethnicity in society, gender, sexuality and society, diversity and security, and gender and sexuality in history. Now this all appears to come from a place of good intentions, trying to be inclusive, giving opportunities, and acknowledging injustices. But it's clear this kind of education is divisive and has led to dehumanization. One parent who spoke with the Free Press recalled an incident at the Air Force Academy involving his son. An instructor there addressed everybody by name except for the white male cadets. For white males, she called the parent's son and another cadet, Cadet White Boy 1 and Cadet White Boy 2 interchangeably, because apparently all white boys look alike. That cadet felt like quitting for obvious reasons, a brilliant strategy during a time when the military is struggling to get new recruits. It's because of situations like this that Hegseth criticizes DEI in the U.S. military for encouraging divisiveness. He also criticizes it for undermining meritocracy through quotas. Now, many, however, deny that DEI in the military is promoting quotas.
Commanders do not have to have a quota for women in the infantry. That does not exist. It does not exist. And your statements are creating the impression that these exist, because they do not. There are not quotas. We want the most lethal force.
The public has the idea that the military treats everyone equally, regardless of race, especially in combat roles. But the military does in fact set goals based on gender and race. Back in December 2020, then Acting Secretary of Defense Christopher C. Miller instructed officials to remove aptitude test barriers that adversely impact diversity to achieve a talent pipeline that reflects America's diversity. Then, a 2022 memo, co-written by current chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General C.Q. Brown, back when he was Chief of Staff of the Air Force, set aspirational race and gender quotas for Air Force officer applicants. Of course, the memo claimed that the quotas will not be used in any manner that undermines our merit-based processes. Aspirational goals that aren't enforceable. What, like a New Year's resolution? But the Air Force had help achieving some of these aspirational quotas for Hispanics by making changes to certain tests, like the qualifying test for officers, to make it easier for them to pass. Changes include shortening wait times between tests, adjusting scores due to language barriers, and changing how scoring is measured. Doesn't exactly inspire confidence that you're producing merit-based soldiers when you're making it easier for a specific group of people to pass in the name of political correctness. But I'm sure it'll be fine. Any enemy military will definitely not try as hard to even the playing field. Wouldn't want to be mean in war, after all. Let's not forget how military leaders tried to bury the study that said all male squads outperformed ones with women, or how the Army erased annual fitness test standards for women and older troops. Air Force cadets were actually receiving training in how to use gender-neutral language, and told not to use words like mom and dad. I think they prefer training in how not to get shot. In the military, the only pronouns that matter are we and our. Not me, I, they, and their. While diversity is a good thing on paper, maybe leave the rainbow camouflage at home, unless you invade Candyland. Now, this has been just one of many of Trump's executive orders. News is happening so fast I can barely keep up. You can make sure myself and the whole team can keep cranking out the episodes for the price of a bag of coffee, which we'll need. Subscribe to our new premium website at americauncovered.tv. The link is below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thank you for watching America Uncovered.